Some very potent dreams last night, just in the soul, my entire life, and how I can react to different sensory experiences and spiraling into the past and things. And it just really made me think just that difficulty, right? I think it would be really, you know, nice. I'm just trying to go over like things in my mind and what's best for everyone. I I would like to eventually settle down and be in a monogamous relationship again, but with my struggles, I feel like it's not the correct path. I've always said with my struggles, I refuse to pass on my own genes, and that hurts because I think it would be really special to, have the experience, like show the nurturing, show the love that I have had from people and things. But it's just mental, physical, all sorts of different things, and I celebrate a lot of the things about me that makes me sort of an anomaly. But there are also things that, yeah, there are going to be times where it's like I'm scared and things, and I don't want that. We all really can feed off the energy and everything, and I don't want that to go on to others. So I do get lonely a lot of times. I don't really hang out with anyone outside of this house, and sometimes I will. There will be some times, it's not like I've never, had friends, but and it's also very cool that in the past it's just that natural magnetism between people that have the same issues or are like-minded and everything. I will always be very grateful, and I will definitely celebrate and reflect on the times of those friends who have died and everything who haven't made it. Um, but yeah, even though, these times of feeling lonely and everything, I must also look at the positives of that, and that's less likely that someone will be present when I'm breaking down, when I'm having, you know, when I'm in that super fear and everything. Because yeah, it can be even. I feel for my mom and my brother and everyone so much. Just yeah, it's been a long time since I've really had like something where it's like I'm really visibly showing things. I'll post things when you see all sorts of stuff online, but very fortunate that things have somehow over time gotten somewhat easier. Um, but still, it's like I think that's just maybe the way it needs to be. Is maybe I shouldn't be trying to talk to people and trying to meet people. Maybe we just keep it to internet relationships, like friendships, because that's super beautiful. There are so many people that really have attempted to get to know me and understand the sort of storm that I am. And though I have this natural gentleness and I empathy and try to be have my emotions in the right place and feel for all sorts of beings beside me, that's what that's why I can at least acknowledge that like my own erratic things to where it's like I'm feeling scared. Like I don't want that to affect others. I don't want that to scare others. So it's like, yeah, maybe that's the answer is some stoicism. And also for so many years I isolated anyway. That was a sense of healing, having that solitude and just getting into art and enjoying, things in a secluded way and everything. And so I'm very lucky in those ways. It's interesting having that to where it's like, oh, I really like with with the sensory issues and all of that, things can really take a toll, and it's like I need to seclude myself. Um, Even just like day to day, it's like, out and about, it is like I finally found a job to where it's like this is easier. This is far easier than being stuck in a loud restaurant with the roaring of people's conversations and everything for so long, and music that I don't like and everything. This is a lot easier. There's still a few minutes of that at a time, but I'm so grateful to have this opportunity. Like, I never kept a job for more than a month all my life until now. This job that I've kept for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, and I have no plans of stopping. And it's paying better than the jobs that, you know, really took a toll on me and that I was not cut out for. Like, I was not learning fast enough, and I certainly didn't know how to speak to people in the ways that they are normally, yeah, just these human interactions to where it's like the ways people carry conversation. I'm not making eye contact. I'm not in. Yeah, that's kind of how I've always been. That's one thing about me. Like, I try to have the empathy and connect to all sorts of people and really put people's shoes on, try to walk in them, try to understand all of the things, that people can face. And I have some experience in some of these things, of course. I mean, they're, you know, like, I've given up, and I'm so happy that I'm at a place where I have a real zest for life. There is that loneliness, and there's that feeling of the disconnect of like, oh, I'm not like most of the people that I meet, but there are people like me. There are people like me in what I've been through, and just who I naturally operate as. And it's very special with these days of social media, just having that like ability to stumble upon someone that has similarities and that thinks like you and has that. So that's beautiful. I do have a zest for life these days. And I want to point that out too with certain things. Like, I have mental illness on top of the autism and everything, and usually it's more about mania, and it can spiral into delusions and hallucinations and things. I've been medicated. I've had the correct medication for many years now, and it's helped tremendously. Without it, I wouldn't be working this job. I mean, I would be breaking down, like, in a number of ways. But like with this, I don't have all of the different traits of certain things. I feel things very deeply. I don't have the anhedonia. I have extreme feelings of every emotion. They're very pronounced, just like the senses that I feel of touch and sight and smell and taste and all sorts of things. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out too. Yeah, I saw a video yesterday, and it's not, like the month of doing that, but I think it's always important to talk about anyway. It's like people, no one chooses who they are in so many ways, whether that's gender identity or a mental illness, any sort of disability. Some of them are invisible until it's being brought up and mentioned, like all of the symptoms and everything that someone experiences. And this also applies to suicidal ideation. Nobody's making that choice. It is being ill. It is having an illness. And it's just very important that we go about things in a healthy way. That sometimes I even do it wrong. I'll be like, I just look back, it's like, oh, I could have said something a lot better there. It's important that people know that that's valid and that these struggles are very real. And I think it's also important just to remind people that it's like, there are those that love you. There are those that would tell you just how much they love you, and just so many traits to you are so special. That might sound a little, I don't know, but I am definitely not any sort of master at communicating to all sorts of people. I feel for people. I can attempt to make some sort of connection and just try to connect that way. But yeah, these things aren't a choice. There are all sorts of things, and it's very sad when so many people that don't have the life experience try to speak on it and be like, oh, nobody needs medication, nobody needs therapy, you're just complaining. It's like, I'm happy that you have that privilege, but you need to educate yourself, because there are all sorts of things that make it so we don't control how our brains work. Our brains are our brains. There are certainly things we can do to help each other and ourselves. We can encourage like healthy lifestyle and stuff. That that doesn't solve everything. And sometimes that's not even really an option for people that are in the midst of a very difficult time. But I do want to point that out, that things can improve. I'm very happy. Of course, I'll say it again. I'm not a healed person. I'm not an enlightened person. I'm not intelligent. I'm not knowledgeable, and I'm not in control of my life in such a perfect way or anything like that. But I do have some experience, and I want people to know that it's like I have been in points of my life where the struggling is too much to bear, and I still have times, of course, where it's like, ooh, this is difficult. But there's always like something. There are beautiful humans, beautiful animals, beautiful plants and fungi. This world has so many sights. And even though a lot of times I'm isolated, I'm secluded in this room, just that's been helping me tremendously. Just having these times with my mom, just looking at cute animals, even discovering new species that I didn't know about and everything. Like, very special. But that's not for everyone. It's like everyone has their own interests and what brings them some sort of, I mean, music is the biggest thing in my life. Uh, my favorite thing to collect, my favorite. I don't know what I'd be screwed without music. Even though like I'm on the right medication thing, is like very happy that we have ways to get into all sorts of artists of different mediums, right? But just please understand that like you belong here, and that things can get better. That's not a promise, because of course I horrible things do happen, and there are struggles that I cannot comprehend, that most people cannot comprehend. So, but like, I just think you owe it to yourself to give yourself a chance. Like, start a day fresh and just give yourself a chance. Don't beat yourself up over if I'm the same way. A lot of times I'm not really doing too much to take care of myself, or I have some unhealthy habits and everything. Don't beat yourself up over that. Just one day at a time, and just give yourself space. Like, allow yourself to feel different things and understand that it's like you don't have to be some. I'm happy I'm not some. Honestly, like, I think. And that's actually a lot of times what I seek in others, or what I connect to. I don't seek, but just naturally fall upon, people that have some little rust on their soul, or whatever you want to call it. Some things that make life like a crazy journey. Um, but that also makes me want to have a place that fosters humility and respect, and for all of these people, and hopefully better help treatments for the worst forms of things and all of this, and just better ways to go about things, where there's always more learning from all sorts of people that are doing the research, the studies, and trying to discover things. But I really hope that you find that place. You have some times of wellness and true joy. You know. Anyway, I love you. I hope life treats you well often.